The National Foster Parent Association is a nonprofit volunteer organization supporting the thousands of foster and adoptive parents who open their hearts and homes to children in need. The National Foster Parent Association offers several membership levels to accommodate everyone in the foster care, adoptive care, and child welfare community. And membership is open to all persons who believe that every child deserves a permanent family. To join today, visit nfpaonline.org.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Irene Clements, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Foster Parent Association. And on January 14th, I believe it was, we posted the availability of completing an application to submit your name for consideration to become a member of the National Foster Parent Association Board of Directors. They believe the board is looking to add 3 to 5 new members. And since that application was posted and that notice went out, we've had numerous calls to our 1-800 number, as well as emails that have come in through our info at nfpaonline.org. And they were all the basic questions that persons had. So I decided, after speaking with the president of our board of directors, Karen Poteet, that it would be a good idea to have a short video that would kind of be a Q&A of those commonly asked questions that we're getting. Because there is information that you need to have in order to make a good decision for yourself if you want to go through the process of completing the application and submitting your name. So of course, you can go to our website and find out lots and lots and lots of things about the NFPA. And I certainly hope that if you are thinking about submitting, that you will be diligent to do that, because there's some great information on there. I know it takes time to sit and look at that, click the links, read about the organization, look at some of the history, see where we're at now, and kind of what the future's looking like as well. The mission of the NFPA is to be a respected national voice for foster, kinship, and adoptive families through networking, education, and advocacy. So, how could you go wrong by serving on a board of directors that has that as their mission? But you have to be ready to do some work in order to make that happen. So I looked at our bylaws, and I thought I would just briefly run down for you verbally what's listed as the official duties of a board of directors. One is to interpret and enforce the provisions of the Articles of Incorporation and bylaws of the association. You can read those bylaws and things on our website. Next, to promise by attitude and action constructive social action needed to bring about changes and improvements in child welfare systems and legislation pertaining to all children and families. Next, to act as an information center and research body regarding constitutional matters, finance, education, and legislative actions, and to disseminate such information. To provide a vehicle for communication among foster parents, local foster parent associations, and child welfare agencies. To cooperate with other organizations which have similar objectives in whole or in part to those of the association. To nominate and ratify an NFPA member to fill any unexpired or vacant office or director position, except the office of president, because that's spoken to in another article in the bylaws. To determine need to hire personnel to further the work of the association and establish processes to do so in policy and procedure. To formulate such rules and regulations as, in the opinion of the board of directors, are essential to the interests and objectives of the association. To maintain the financial health and public image of the association. To ratify nominations of standing committee chairs. So those are the duties as listed in the bylaws, and those are the basic duties of pretty much any director that serves on a nonprofit board across this country. But I thought it was important that we just kind of go over those briefly. And again, you can find the bylaws on our website, and those are listed in there if you want to look at them again. So I think we can just get started because I don't want this to last a long time. I just want you to have the opportunity to hear these answers and then know that you can um, email us is preferable, or call us, either one, and we will do our best to answer your questions. So if we get started on the first question that's always asked first, it seems like, from everybody I've talked to, is what is a time commitment of a board member with the NFPA? Well, there's several items that I'm going to talk to you about. The board of directors meets currently on a monthly basis, and on the first Monday evening and night of each month at 7:30 Central Time. And because our board is spread across the United States from the West Coast to the East Coast, starting at 7:30 Central means that those on the West Coast are starting the meeting at 5:30, and those on the East Coast are not starting the meeting even until 8:30. These calls usually last an hour to an hour and a half. Rarely do they go longer than that, but that has certainly occurred. The board also meets for a full day just prior to our annual education conference that's usually held in June, and for a full day in the fall each year. These full day meetings are normally in-person meetings, although that was not possible in 2020 and is probably not going to be possible in 2021 as well. These 2 full day meetings during this COVID crisis has been held via Zoom, and will also be held by Zoom in 2021. We're all hoping, of course, that, and this will end soon, hopefully at least by 2022, so we can again have those 2 opportunities to spend a full day together, learn from each other, spend some good time planning, and use some of that time maybe for in-person committee meetings. Each director is expected to participate on 2 NFPA committees. The standing committees in the bylaws are governance, membership, finance, audit, and program. Now, under those, the chairs of those committees can establish additional committees. So when there's a new project or something that comes up, they can do a subcommittee, but they can also ask the board to establish other standing committees. And a good example of that, I think, is the program committee, because the program committee is where our conference committee falls under. And so there is a chair for that committee, certainly, because a lot of work goes into planning our annual conferences. The directors are expected to attend and assist with the annual conference each year. There's a commitment usually to include that full day meeting, which makes it a 5 or 6 day trip when it's held in person. The location of the annual conference changes each year as it moves across the United States. And we do that to better allow people from various parts of the country to attend a in-person national conference every few years as the conference rotates back through their general part of the country. So when we look at the time commitment, it's going to vary on which committees you might be on. If you're a chair of a committee, you may not have to serve on the second one, but you probably will want to. And each of these committees then usually meets once a month on a call or a Zoom meeting, and does other work by email and phone and other Zoom calls if needed, depending on what they're working on. Okay, so another question is, what is the term length for a director? Directors are elected for 2-year terms. So in your can run for election again if you want to continue to serve. And the current board of directors are the people who do the selection and voting on people who currently serve, who will serve, and then those who want to continue to serve in the future. Another question, is there travel required? And if so, how much? Normally, directors are required to travel to the annual conference and to assist with the conference, as we talked about before, to ensure that we have a successful conference, and to attend the full-day meeting of the board of directors. Directors are also required to attend the full-day meeting in the fall. That location of the meeting may vary, and historically is often held at the hotel that we've selected to hold our conference at the next year in June. And that way we can see the hotel, get a walkthrough of it, learn the ins and outs of the layout, that sort of thing, which really helps us in the planning of that next conference to be successful. Another question, do directors receive any compensation or reimbursements for serving on the board of directors? The answer to that is director positions on the board are volunteer positions, and the directors receive no compensation for serving on the board of directors. Directors do not receive any reimbursement for expenses associated with serving on the board unless authorized by the NFPA policies and procedures. No reimbursements is available for travel costs associated with the 2 full-day in-person meetings and the conference each year. So that is something to consider if you plan on submitting an application. Okay, another question. What are the requirements to be met for a person wanting to apply to serve as a director? The answer, majority of the directors must be or have been a foster kinship or adoptive parent who closed their home in good standing. So that means at least 51% of the people serving on the board of directors by our bylaws need to have been foster, adoptive, or kinship parents in the past or currently doing that. That then leaves 49% or up to 49% of the board of directors that can be people who have a heart for what we do, have a heart for foster care, have a heart for children, have a heart for advocacy, and that can bring skills and knowledge that we need to the organization. Sometimes that's, I think the announcement listed some things, but I'll go into that a little bit later. Let me see. So also, if you want to apply, you need to be a member of the NFPA, a regular member of the NFPA, in order to apply for consideration for the board of directors. And certainly, should you be selected to serve on the board of directors, you need to maintain your membership. People should have time available to accomplish the work of the board to support the mission and vision of the association. Again, you can find the vision as well on our website, and know that it will take some time out of your life to do this. Person should have time to actively serve on 2 committees or subcommittees or be the chair of a committee. Again, the committees meet at least monthly by conference call or GoToMeeting or Zoom, as well as they communicate by email and additional phone calls. And then directors are required by policy, by board approved policy, to participate in what they call the Give-Get program. And this program, each board member either gives or gets from others to assist them in donating at least a total of $180 a year to the NFPA. This is important when we go to grantors, because one of the questions they always ask in the application is, are you supported 100% financially by your board of directors? This is a very important component of funding for the future of this organization. So bottom line is the NFPA board is a working board. And why do I say that? I say that because we only have two staff, myself, who is full-time, and our half-time administrative coordinator. So the directors are needed to complement a lot of the work that the NFPA and the staff do. The NFPA, and I think it's in your announcement with the application, is seeking directors who can enhance the dynamics of the board by bringing skill sets in one or more of the following categories of leadership, governance, computer and marketing skills, finance, programs, events, and other skills that would be helpful to the NFPA to further our mission. One that comes to mind, and it could, I guess, fall in the governance, would be, let's say, an attorney that could help us with legal questions, that sort of thing. So the only other thing that I thought about that I needed to check on, which I was able to do, is the other question that everybody's had is there a due date? Well, in the policy, the board approved to start this process. There is a statement in there that the application would be open for 30 days after it was posted. Now, this was posted on January 14th, so that would make the 30 days February 13th. Since we're just now making that public because it wasn't in the notification that went out, I have asked the chair of the governance committee if there can be some consideration to extending that date, maybe by another 15 days or something like that, since we were not clear in the announcement that there was even a deadline, an expected due date. So we will get back with you on that. And all I can say is please watch our website for that. If you are considering turning in your application, start asking for those letters of reference now and get your resume spruced up a little bit, and do your best to get it in by February 13th. But we will try to see if we can get, maybe like I say, an extension to the end of February or something like that. The board of directors will meet on Monday evening, February 1st, and this is something certainly that the governance chair can bring forward to the board for their consideration. So thank you so much for your attention. Again, just email at info@nfpaonline.org. I get those emails. I'll be the one that'll be reading them and answering them for you. And hopefully we've touched on all of the main questions that people have asked. We may get a new one. If so, then we'll try to do our best to answer that for you as well. So thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for your interest in serving on the NFPA board. I served for many years on this board in a lot of different capacities. And before I became the executive director, and I can tell you that it is an incredibly fulfilling activity because you get to touch really the lives and of the country by the advocacy work in particular that's done, the programs that are developed and supported by this organization, the great sponsors that we have that help us accomplish our goals. Two that I can say that has really made a difference in 2020 that were new, that we were able to develop to meet the needs in 2020 and now certainly 2021 and moving forward, was the National Foster Parent Association Training Institute. And that website is nfpati.org. And also our Coffee with Caregivers program that's featured every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock on Facebook. So join us. Again, you'll find all that on our homepage, on our website. Let's get involved, do what you can, because the families and children of this country need you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.